Bet you didn't see that coming. I also bet that you didn't see this coming. You thought I was gone. That when you needed me most, I vanished. But here you are, shocked, perplexed, maybe even flabbergasted at the thought of seeing me again. Well, I'm back, baby. So, I hear you asking, what have you been up to all this time? Well, it's a fun little project I've been working on in the background. Today we're going to be talking about Linux. So we live in a world where privacy doesn't really exist anymore. Steam's on games. Games on Steam were recently found having malware that would steal your crypto wallet when you download them. Google has come out recently saying that they're using the data from 2 billion phones around the world to detect earthquakes using the phone's gyro thing. That's like a quarter of the human population. Speaking of Google, everything you use is Google. You want email? Gmail. You want paper? Google Docs. You want a spreadsheet? Google Sheets. You want to search something on the internet? Google Engine. You want a browser? Google Browser. You want to watch this video? YouTube. Wait a minute. I downloaded this video and I uploaded it to YouTube. No! There's no escape. But what if there is? What if there is a way we could escape from the Google hive mind? What if there is a way to rid yourself of paid subscriptions and using big companies using your data to sell your stuff online? What if there was an opportunity for you to regain your free will and freedom of choice? What if there was a red pill? There may be no red pill, Neo, but there is a solution. It's on the other side. Make Linux an open source operating system. So I thought it'd be fun to walk through my experience as a complete beginner navigating through Linux and share some of the experiences that I had, as well as some of the apps that I used to step away from the Google environment and to sort of take back control of my goddamn life. To run this, you could actually go out and buy one of those Raspberry Pi 5s or whatever fucking model number they have out for like $50, but I had this old laptop lying around, and honestly, I feel like it works perfectly fine. You can actually use any old computer, phone that you have to do this. So, you know, if it's free, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have literally anything at home, like a really old computer, like it's free. So yeah, you don't actually have to pay anything to do this. So, you know, free is good. We like free. And for my first install, I chose Linux Mint. It seemed like the kind of obvious choice. I mean, everywhere you went, everyone was like, "Oh, just pick Linux Mint, man. Like it's simple. Baby's first Linux." And baby's first Linux it was. I mean, just look at it. It looks exactly like Windows. You had the little icon down in the friggin' corner, and it just looked exactly like Windows. It even comes with a tutorial setup, which is actually really, really cool. I feel like it's nice to actually be able to have this setup so you can manually install what you want and sort of not install what you don't want. But after installing all the drivers, I finally ran into my first real problem. What the fuck do I do? I mean, literally, you have so much freedom, so much possibility. The possibilities are literally endless. The world is your oyster. If the plan was to de-Googlefy, or i.e. get away from all of the paid Google subscription shit, or the free stuff rather, then we had to come up with a plan. And this plan that I came up with involves 3 things. 1, I wanted to replace Spotify, because I found that I don't really listen to that much music, and also I don't want to pay $13 a month. 2, I wanted a local password manager, since LastPass only offered one platform for free, which meant I had to manually type in all my passwords into my phone, which was a huge pain in the ass. And 3, I wanted my own cloud storage, sort of like my own version of Google Drive. It basically would just be a place where I kept all of my things without having to pay Google like $3 a month, and also be able to access them at any time without having to go through that shitty Google UI. And to do all of this, I'd have to turn my laptop into a server. And honestly, it sounds a lot more complicated than it really is. I mean, it's literally sitting right there. But basically, to turn something into a server, you just have to leave it on all the time and have it running the programs that you want in the background. That's literally it. Like, it sounds complicated, but in essence, that's exactly what it is. So, job's done. To replace Spotify, I opted for Navidrome. Now, installing Navidrome was actually really simple in hindsight. It's literally just 2 command lines, and you just copy and paste that into the little command terminal, and then you basically have it. But for some reason, my dumbass couldn't wrap my head around that, so it took me like at least a full day to install. I actually don't understand why, in hindsight. Like, I must have been like really stupid. It comes with a pretty okay interface, but in all honesty, it's really just a place to store music files and to organize them. It's overall like really simple, but also that's kind of the point. When I listen to music, I really only listen to music in 2 places, which is the gym and the car. Literally, you know, like when I'm driving to the gym. So it's my only real requirement was that it was able to connect to CarPlay, so I could actually play it from my car. That was really the only big thing, which I solved by using an app called PlaySub, which sort of integrates with Navidrome. So Navidrome is running on the server, and then that PlaySub app is running on my phone. So they sort of stream to each other. So this is kind of like my own version of Spotify now. And I also tried an alternative called Subsonic when Navidrome didn't work for the first time. And honestly, I will say that Subsonic is amazing. Like, the installation is super simple, super straightforward, and everything worked flawlessly. Like, it was so cool. It was like actually flawless. Like, I got it set up in like 3 seconds flat. It was like world record any percent speed run. The problem with Subsonic is that it's not free. As I found out after I downloaded it and went through the whole process of that, you get a 30-day free trial, in which after you have to pay $1 a month, $12 or $12 a year, or you can opt for the $100 lifetime subscription, which, you know, I mean, $1 a month versus $13 a month is a pretty fucking big steal if you ask me. But I'm also a cheap ass, and $1 a month is unacceptable. I'm trying to go for the free route. All that inconvenience just to not pay $1 a month. This is the kind of video that we're talking about, actually. So yeah, these are the kind of savings that we're kind of looking at. So yeah, it sounds kind of ridiculous now that you think about it. So password managers are sort of a big part of people's lives now, I feel. And so for the longest time, I've been using LastPass. And honestly, LastPass is great. I love LastPass. We all love LastPass. The only problem with LastPass that I've ever had with it is the fact that you can only have one platform at any given time. unless you pay $3. Which, $3? I'm not gonna fucking do that. I wouldn't pay $1 for for an alternative, easier to use music app. I want free. So come in, Vault Warden. Oh my god. Vault Warden was such a pain in the ass to install, you wouldn't fucking believe. It took me at least 2 full days to get this shit working. Because initially, I was following this random guy's instructions on GitHub to install Vault Warden because the main Vault Warden site doesn't really have any sort of like easy to look at install instructions, which was kind of funny because looking online at YouTube videos, apparently they used to, but they no longer do, so it's kind of become such a really big pain in the ass. But anyways, I was following this guy's instructions and I kept getting these random ass errors when I was installing it, saying no CLI, no dlib. I don't know what the fuck any of that shit means. And at one point, one of the final solutions for this dlib problem specifically was that I had to install dlib with a little line that says break system packages, and apparently doing that can like obliterate your computer. And so I don't even remember how I ended up installing it. I must have gone through some like Winter Soldier psychotic episode where I like completely blacked out and then I woke up the next day and suddenly it started working. But eventually we did actually get it to work, which was really nice. And the installation was such a big pain in the ass. I don't think I would ever recommend anybody install it unless you have like the time of day to do so and you're like unemployed. Like me, you got like all the time in the universe. But once we got it up and running, it worked flawlessly. I'm not even joking, like it is actually really, really nice. And you get the extra benefit of being able to download it on your phone. And so now, instead of having to manually type in passwords into my phone, it's just already there. It's automatically there. Even when I leave the room and I go on like data or whatever, I can still use it, and it's great. It has all the functionalities of LastPass, and honestly, it's basically LastPass, but I can use it on multiple platforms, and also I can host it locally on my own computer. And the last thing I want to add onto my big server, my big de-Googlefying, was an alternative version to Google Drive. Now, personally, I don't really use Google Drive. I've never really used it, and the main reason that I've never really used it is because that UI is so unbelievably shit. Like, what even is that? I don't even want to touch that. It's ew. And also, you have to pay to add anything more than 15 gigabytes on. Like, you get 15 gigabytes free, which is like literally nothing. And then to add anything else on there, you have to pay $3 a month for 100 gigs, which is fine for schmucks like me who don't really put many big files on there because I've always saved them locally to my computer. But for anybody who actually likes placing bigger files on there to be able to communicate between their home computer and their work computer, 100 gigs runs out super fucking quickly. And then after you max out the $2 a month option, and then now you're stuck with the fucking $10 a goddamn month option for 2 terabytes. And it's just a big mess. It's a big mess, and I don't like it. And so the alternative to that, file browser. Now the great thing about file browser is that on the surface, it looks really simple to install. I mean, it's literally one line. You just copy and paste that, boom, you're done. And if you rather prefer that in a Docker format, you copy and paste that, boom, you're done. What they don't tell you is that once you get everything up and running, the second you close that terminal, it disappears. It's gone. It vanishes. Like, where did it go? What the fuck? And I will tell you this right now. The internet does not help here. No, not a single person on this goddamn planet of 8.2 billion people have ever run into this problem using file browser. except me, because there was no solution. There was literally no solution at all that I could find. Except for one. I came across this YouTube video, and there was this guy who said basically don't use any of the install stuff that you see on the installation site, because that's all kind of hoopla, and instead run it as a Docker Compose instead. And so I'll explain what Docker Compose is in a minute, but basically run it as a Docker Compose everything itself, and after doing that, finally it worked. It took me a whole 2 days to get it working, and I don't even remember what that guy's YouTube channel was, but God bless him. If I do find it, I'll link it down in the description so you can do it yourself and not go through the hassle that I went through. But back to file browser, it's honestly very simple. Like it's like actually like rudimentary almost, right? It's like on a web UI. And you place your folder there, and then you place files into it. And that's literally all it does. But it's so perfect. I mean, it uses your hard drive space, first of all, so by default, I have a free 500 gigabytes of storage without having to pay a single cent. And I actually wrote this entire script in file browser itself on my laptop, which was great until it wasn't. As I was writing the script, I pressed save. I finished the script and I pressed save. Turns out, the Wi-Fi in my laptop died for about a quarter of a second, so none of it saved. I wrote the entire script, everything that you heard from the beginning until now, and it disappeared. It went kaput. It vanished like Aang, the last Avatar, the last Airbender. And that sucked. That really sucked. And so I will say that if you're gonna be running your laptop off of Wi-Fi, it's probably good practice to not run it on Wi-Fi, or if you do, then hopefully your Wi-Fi is really stable, and also save frequently. So, but overall, the fact that you can edit your text files on file browser is actually huge. And overall, it's really cool. It's a really positive experience, and I give that a big thumbs up. Outside of the server a little bit, I also switched my browser from Google Chrome to Firefox, as well as switching Firefox from using Google as the default search engine to DuckDuckGo, because DuckDuckGo is at the very least slightly more private, I feel, or at least I've heard. I don't know too much about whether DuckDuckGo is like fully private, like, you know, like your information they don't use it for anything at all. But that little bit of privacy and a little bit of security sort of, I feel it kind of goes a long way to keeping yourself a little bit more secure during a time when the internet is, well, the internet's kind of a scary place now, isn't it? And the last thing that I did with my server was I made a Minecraft server for me and my girlfriend. Yeah, that's pretty much everything that I've done so far with the server. Future plans essentially just boils down to, you know, like 1 or 2 more apps that I might install in the future and security updates. For the apps, it's really just down to audiobooks. I was thinking of getting a audiobook app for the server to have audiobooks when I'm doing long drives, like maybe we're going on a big road trip or something and I get tired of the same 10 songs that I always listen to, so maybe having an audiobook would be nice in the cases like that. And also buffing up more security. That's pretty much it for my server, for my personal uses with it. But you can also add more things onto there. For example, the big thing that I know a lot of people like to use is Plex and MB. Those two are basically kind of the same thing. It's essentially it's like Navigdrome, where you can store music, but instead of music, it's movies and TV shows. You could also get the added benefit of being able to Chromecast it onto your TV and all that stuff. So that's really cool if you're into that kind of thing as well. I personally don't really watch any movies unless it's like a social situation. So I never really found a use for that personally. But you know, for you moviegoers and you TV show watchers, that might be a net positive thing as well. But overall, would I recommend Linux? In all honesty, if you value convenience, if you value your time, if you value your sanity, and life in general is just really busy and you like things to be simple because, you know, it's difficult to fit more, you know, like anything more into your busy life, honestly, I'd say no. You see, Linux, it's great. Building the server was great, but it did take a whole bunch of time and a whole lot of inconvenience just to be able to get simple apps working, just to get like a file browser, a password manager, and a music app working. It took me an entire week of near constant working to get everything running. And it was such a big pain in the ass when, if you take the simple route, it's as simple as going onto your phone into the App Store, then installing Spotify, going onto your computer or your phone and installing LastPass. I mean, even your phone already has its own like password manager, and also just going into Google Drive and just using that instead. I mean, in all honesty, like $2 a month for 100 gigs for most people is probably perfectly fine if you don't use it that often like I do. And in terms of privacy, in all honesty, having privacy is kind of like, it's like a catch-22 almost, in the sense that if you make yourself a server like this, right, you do get the privacy and the comfort in knowing that your information isn't being accessed and sold by Google or these other big companies. But at the same time, you then risk yourself to fucking Jim from Kentucky with a goddamn failed CS degree, who spends his fucking spare time in his mom's basement making YouTube comment bots saying my videos are better than this guy's. Ha ha ha. Very funny. He's gonna end up hacking your shit anyways. So in that sense, your privacy is, while you can secure it, there's no way to make it 100% secure, like in any instance. And it really boils down to the question of whether or not you'd prefer having your privacy be violated by big Google or Jim Bob from fucking Iowa or something. I don't know. So does that mean that I don't recommend Linux? In all honesty, no. I actually do recommend it. If you have the time, you know, it's free. I mean, if you have like an old computer or something lying around collecting dust in a closet or a cupboard, it's literally free. Like, you just pick it up, you just download Linux on there. And one of the big benefits of Linux in general is that, I mean, you do own everything that you have. In a world now where, in the case of video games at least, where you could pay for a video game just for them to be able to remove it because you didn't actually pay for the game, you pay for the license of the game. You don't own anything nowadays. Online, you don't own jack shit. I mean, just look at Netflix. You pay a subscription and then you watch a TV show and then they'll just fucking remove it the next day. Just be poof, gone. Because Netflix doesn't want you to watch the show anymore because they want you to watch fucking Miraculous Ladybug or something instead. But in general, Linux definitely makes you feel like you own a lot of the things that you have, and it really makes you feel like you're in control of the information that you have and that you give out, and that when you're uploading something to like your drive, you know that no one is really stealing your shit, you know? Like, no one's manipulating you in the background and harvesting your information to sell to some fucking random secret agency, or using your information to feed their AI chatbot. And one of the other big benefits of using a server, in all honesty, is that if you have the time, you can buff up security to an extent to where most people wouldn't bother attacking you, and that's a big thing, because I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how much security you have, someone's going to break in, right? If someone is dedicated enough, they will get in and they will steal your shit. But most people are not that guy. So if you even add a bit of like a modicum of security and make yourself not the easiest target to attack, most likely most people want to attack you. And I think that's also really, really nice, because now you've protected yourself from both big corpo and also little Jim Bob. And I mean, overall, it's nice to have that sense of security overall. But the biggest thing that I would say that was beneficial about using Linux, and why I feel like everyone should use Linux, is the fact that you could actually see everything that your computer is doing. I mean, the amount of lines of code that gets brought up onto the screen just to extract a web link, like a download link from the internet, to download some like 5 megabyte program, like it really puts into perspective the amount of work that our computers do in the modern day. I mean, we live in a time where, I mean, fucking AI chatbots are becoming like the big new thing, and GPU prices are like $2,000, and we're measuring performances and percentages, like, oh, 10% performance increase, 15% performance increase, and we're looking for the latest and greatest, and we're pushing forward, and everything is fucking full steam ahead. But I think it's also important to sit back and to watch your computer just run through like simple tasks. And it really makes you think about how even an older computer, like maybe the one that you're watching on right now, or maybe like you have an old phone, how much work it goes through on a daily basis, and how much of a technological marvel that the technology that we have is. I mean, we spend so much time throwing away old computers, old phones, old laptops, saying that they're obsolete because they don't run the latest OSs or the latest video games. But in all honesty, the fact that your computer even exists at all is a fucking technological marvel. Like, it's like one of the greatest inventions of all time. And I feel like having Linux and being able to actually see it in action really does put into perspective the fact that, maybe your old computer isn't so old after all. Maybe, maybe it does still have some life to it, and maybe you can use it for something else, and you'll think twice about tossing that old laptop, and maybe you'll find some other use for it. And yeah, that's something to think about. But that's pretty much going to be it for me today. Thank you for watching. If you liked anything here, and I maybe motivated you to install Linux, then hit that like and subscribe button. And if you have any experiences with Linux that you would like to talk about, then comment it down below. But yeah, other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.